Most people would walk right past this coin without giving it a second look, maybe even toss it aside thinking it's just another old piece of metal with no real value. But what if that small, seemingly ordinary coin in your hand is actually something far more important than it appears? What if it carries not just history, but hidden potential that only a few people truly understand? That's exactly the case with the South Africa 5 shillings 1955 coin, a piece that quietly holds a story, a legacy, and an opportunity that most people miss. To understand why this coin is so interesting, you have to look beyond its surface. This isn't just currency from the past. It comes from a time when coins were made with real substance, often containing silver, crafted with detail, and designed to represent a nation's identity. Back in 1955, South Africa was going through a very different era politically and economically, and coins like this were part of everyday life. They passed through markets, businesses, and households, carrying value not just in money but in the role they played in society. Now fast forward to today, and everything has changed. Coins are no longer just tools for transactions. They've become collectibles, investments, and in some cases, prized possessions that people are willing to search for across the world. The South Africa 5 shillings 1955 coin has slowly moved into that category, but not everyone has realized it yet. And that's where things start to get interesting. Point one of the biggest factors that makes any coin valuable is rarity. But rarity doesn't always mean that only a few are made. Sometimes it means that fewer have survived in good condition over time. Think about how many coins from 1955 have been lost, damaged, melted down, or simply forgotten. Every year that passes, the number of well-preserved examples becomes smaller. And when something becomes harder to find while demand grows, its value naturally starts to rise. Condition plays a massive role here. A coin that has been kept carefully, with minimal wear, sharp details, and original shine can be worth significantly more than one that has been heavily circulated. Collectors pay attention to the smallest details, the clarity of the design, the edges, even the tiniest scratches. So if someone happens to own a high-quality version of this coin, they might be holding something far more valuable than they realize. But it's not just about rarity and condition. There's also the emotional and historical connection. Coins like this are tangible links to the past. When someone holds a South Africa 5 shillings 1955 coin, they're holding a piece of history that has traveled through decades. It's been part of a different world, a different economy, and a different generation. That sense of connection is something collectors deeply value, and it's one of the reasons why demand continues to grow. Another factor that adds to its appeal is the global nature of coin collecting today. In the past, collecting was often limited to local markets or small groups of enthusiasts. But now, with online platforms and international communities, a coin from South Africa can attract attention from collectors in the United States, Europe, Asia, and beyond. This global exposure increases competition, and when more people compete for the same item, prices can move upward much faster. There's also a psychological element at play. People are always looking for the next hidden gem, the next overlooked item that could turn out to be valuable. Stories of rare coins being discovered and sold for large amounts of money have created a sense of curiosity and excitement. Even if most coins don't reach extreme values, the possibility alone is enough to keep people searching, collecting, and investing. At the same time, it's important to stay grounded. Not every coin becomes extremely valuable, and not every old coin is rare. The real key is knowledge. Understanding what makes a coin special, its history, its composition, its condition, and its demand, is what separates informed collectors from those who are just guessing. That's why taking the time to research and learn about coins like this can make a huge difference. The South Africa 5 shillings 1955 coin sits in an interesting position. It's not the most talked about coin, and it doesn't always make headlines. But that's exactly what gives it potential. When something is still under the radar, it hasn't reached its peak attention yet. And in many cases, that's where the biggest opportunities exist. Imagine finding one of these coins in an old collection, a drawer, or even passed down from a family member. At first, it might not seem like much, but with the right understanding, that small discovery could turn into something meaningful. It could be the start of a collection, a deeper interest in history, or even a financial opportunity. The design of the coin itself also adds to its charm. Coins from this era often feature detailed engravings, symbols of national identity, and craftsmanship that you don't always see in modern coins. These artistic elements make them appealing not just as collectibles, but as pieces of art. Some collectors focus specifically on design and aesthetics, and coins like this fit perfectly into that category. As time continues to pass, the story of this coin becomes even more significant. Each year adds another layer of history, another reason for collectors to take interest. What was once a common piece of currency becomes a rare artifact, and what was once overlooked becomes sought after. There's also the factor of market trends. The value of collectibles can rise and fall based on interest, economic conditions, and cultural trends. Recently, there has been a noticeable increase in interest in tangible assets, items that people can hold, store, and pass down. Coins fit perfectly into this category, and that broader trend can have a positive impact on the value. For anyone considering getting involved in coin collecting, starting with coins like this can be a smart move. It's not about chasing the most expensive or the most famous coins. It's about finding pieces that have potential, learning about them, and building knowledge over time. That approach not only increases the chances of finding value but also makes the process more enjoyable. There's something uniquely satisfying about holding a piece of history in your hand and knowing that it has a story to tell. It's a connection that goes beyond numbers and prices. It's about curiosity, discovery, and appreciation, and yet, despite all of this, many people still overlook coins like the South Africa 5 shillings 1955 coin. They don't see the potential, they don't recognize the history, and they don't realize what they might be missing. That's what keeps the opportunity alive for those who are paying attention. Because in the world of collectibles, timing matters. Being early, being informed, and being willing to look deeper than others can make all the difference. The coins that seem ordinary today can become the ones everyone is talking about tomorrow, so the next time you come across an old coin, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Ask questions. Do a little research. You might be surprised by what you find, because sometimes the smallest objects carry the biggest stories, and the quietest opportunities turn out to be the most rewarding. And one day, you might look back at a simple coin like this and realize that what once seemed ordinary had the potential to be worth $760 million.